If someone asked you to imagine a person with an extremely high IQ, you'd probably picture someone calm, composed, maybe wearing glasses, speaking flawlessly, and radiating quiet confidence. The kind of person who walks into a room and without saying a word, you just know they're brilliant. But here's the uncomfortable reality. That image is mostly fiction. Because people who actually score in the highest ranges of intelligence don't walk around feeling like geniuses. In fact, many of them spend a surprising amount of time feeling like they're faking it. They lie awake at 3 a.m., not always solving complex problems, but replaying a random conversation from years ago. They overanalyze small things, forget obvious ones, and constantly question themselves. When you zoom in and really observe their psychology, it doesn't look perfect. It looks messy. It looks human. And that's where things get interesting. Habit 1. Deep, persistent self-doubt. One of the most consistent traits among highly intelligent individuals is this: they doubt themselves a lot. Not for attention, not for validation, but because deep down, they genuinely believe they might not be as capable as others think. There's a psychological pattern here. People with lower competence often overestimate themselves, while highly capable individuals tend to underestimate themselves. Why? Because the more you understand something, the more you realize how much you don't know. Imagine standing at the edge of an ocean. The smarter you are, the more clearly you can see how deep it goes. And that awareness creates a constant internal voice. What if I'm missing something? What if I'm not actually good enough? Over time, this turns into a quiet, persistent feeling, like you're getting away with something, and one day someone's going to expose you. Habit 2. The night thinker lifestyle. Many high IQ individuals naturally drift toward being night owls. And it's not just a bad habit, it's often biological. Studies suggest that people with higher intelligence tend to sleep later and wake later. But it's deeper than just sleep timing. It's about control over thought. At night, the world is silent. No distractions, no expectations. And for a mind that's constantly processing, questioning, and creating, that silence becomes addictive. So they stay awake longer, reading, thinking, imagining, planning. But here's the downside. The world still runs on a morning schedule, so they end up sleep-deprived, exhausted, and often misunderstood as lazy, when in reality, their brain just operates on a completely different rhythm. Habit 3. Talking to themselves more than you think. Here's something most people won't admit publicly. Highly intelligent people often talk to themselves out loud. Not because they're strange, but because it actually helps them think better. This is called private speech, a powerful cognitive tool. When thoughts stay inside your head, they can feel chaotic, but when you say them out loud, they become structured, clear, manageable. For highly analytical minds, language isn't just for communication, it's a tool for organizing thoughts. So even when no one is around, the conversation continues. And yes, sometimes they get caught doing it and quickly pretend they were on a call. Habit 4. Overthinking and mental overload. A powerful brain doesn't always mean a peaceful mind. In fact, it often means the opposite. Highly intelligent individuals are more prone to anxiety and overthinking. Why? Because their brain is incredibly good at predicting outcomes. Not just one outcome, but every possible outcome. Good ones, bad ones, worst-case scenarios. It's like having a high-speed simulation engine running 24/7. Before making a simple decision, their mind might have already explored what could go right, what could go wrong, what could go terribly wrong. And while this makes them great problem solvers, it also makes it very hard to relax because the brain never really switches off. Habit 5. Forgetting the obvious things. Here's the irony. Someone who can solve complex problems might forget where they kept their keys, or whether they replied an important message, or even someone's name multiple times. This isn't carelessness, it's prioritization. The brain has limited attention, and when most of it is invested in deep thinking, abstract ideas, or long-term problems, simple, repetitive details get pushed aside. To their mind, those things feel low priority, because somehow they trust that those problems will solve themselves. Habit 6. Language as a precision tool. Highly intelligent people tend to have a strong command over language, but it's not just about using big words, it's about using the right word, even if that word happens to be inappropriate in certain situations. Research shows that people who are comfortable using expressive, even taboo language often score higher in verbal intelligence, because for them, language isn't about sounding polite, it's about being precise. So if a certain word captures the emotion or intensity perfectly, they'll use it, because to them, words are tools, and the goal is accuracy, not approval. Habit 7. Sensory sensitivity. Another lesser-known trait. Many high IQ individuals experience the world more intensely. Sounds feel louder, lights feel brighter, crowds feel overwhelming. This is linked to heightened sensory processing. Their brain doesn't just process more ideas, it also processes more input from the environment. So things that feel normal to others can feel exhausting to them. That's why they often prefer quiet environments, minimal distractions, controlled spaces. Not because they're antisocial, but because their brain is already handling a lot. Conclusion: the reality behind intelligence. When you put all of this together, the image of a genius changes completely. It's no longer someone flawless and confident. It's someone who is constantly thinking, quietly doubting, easily overwhelmed, deeply analytical, and often mentally exhausted. Yes, they have incredible abilities, but they also carry a mind that never truly rests. So if you see yourself in this, the overthinking, the late nights, the self-doubt, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just experiencing the weight of a brain that's always running, always analyzing, always searching. And sometimes that's both your greatest strength and your biggest challenge. If this video made you pause, think, or even see yourself a little differently, then you're already stepping into a deeper understanding of the mind. And trust me, this is just the surface, because every day around the world, human behavior is revealing patterns, hidden truths, and psychological insights that most people never notice. So if you're curious to explore how people think, why they act the way they do, and what's really happening beneath the surface of everyday life, then join us on this journey with Psychology Universe. Hit that subscribe button, because the more you understand psychology, the clearer you start to see the world. And if this video connected with you, give it a like and share it with someone who's always overthinking at 3 a.m. They might need this more than you think. Stay curious, stay aware, and I'll see you in the next video.